Motives, welcome back to another episode of the Behind Your Motive podcast. This is actually being filmed for the second time, believe it or not. The first time, I think I filmed one of the best videos I've ever filmed on this exact topic I'll be speaking to you about now, and the mic wasn't on. Anyway, shit happens and you learn from it and you get better. So I'm hoping the mic is on this time, the second time around. I'll be speaking to you about a really important topic, and a topic that doesn't get spoken enough about in today's society. And I'm sure you can tell by the title, it's about the last time you cried. And if you had to think about going back, when do you think the last time you cried was? When do you think the last time you were vulnerable and you just let it all out? No matter what happened, right? It could be a sad emotion, it could be a happy emotion, it could be angry cries, angry emotions, whatever it is. Do you think you let out your emotions a lot? Around people, by yourself, whatever it is. And I truly believe that this question does not get asked enough, and this does not get spoken about enough. And the one source I started to really think about this question a lot was from the AFL. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and that's our country's national sport, is the Australian Football League. And Gil McLachlan, the host of this show that the AFL put on, he interviewed multiple of our best athletes of the sport and asked them when was the last time they cried. And it was astonishing to see the amount of response and raw emotion out of these players that we all have looked up to in our lives. Like, I played footy for probably 10 years, right? And we always looked up to these AFL stars to be just like them. And we've never seen them cry, we've never seen this vulnerable side to them. But this show really allowed us to see that other side of someone, as high up as these people are, and see the raw emotion out of them and see how vulnerable they became. Because it's really important, guys. It's really important, and this show really helped me open my eyes to this ongoing issue about people not actually speaking up, people being afraid of being emotional around their friends, family, loved ones, and total strangers, right? Because of how it may make them seem, how it may make them look. And I'm sure you guys maybe heard this before, that it's not you're not a man if you cry, and you need to toughen up. You need to get your emotions in check. You need to eat a bit of concrete. I've been told this a lot, and I'm sure you have as well. And in retrospect, that's how our parents, I'm only 20 years old, that's how our parents grew up. They grew up in a state where it was normal to be able to speak like that, to be able to hold our emotions in, hold their emotions in. It was normal. And that's all they knew. That's what they knew best. And back then, I think it was a different time where it was, you couldn't cry in front of people because you'd be a pussy, you'd be weak. And that's not anymore. I hate that. Honestly, if someone tells you to stop crying, to stop being a wussy or anything like that crap, do not speak to them anymore, because that's not the influence you need in your life. And when I finished watching all these episodes in this series, it's on Instagram and Facebook if you want to watch it, on the AFL page, it really got me thinking. And I'm a part of this Facebook group, which is amazing. It has over 100,000 members in it, highly engaged, always asking questions in there, right? It's not like one of these dead Facebook groups that you see all the time. It's actually really good. And I thought, okay, I love speaking about mindset. I love speaking about self-development and personal growth. So this group that I'm a part of also love those things. And it could be a really good question to ask. So I asked it. I just asked simply, when was the last time you cried? And in a matter of half an hour, I received over 60 comments back I couldn't keep up with responding to each one, to interacting with each one. Like, it was crazy. 3 days on till today, there's over 300 comments on that post alone. Like, no posts in that group get up to 300 comments. Rarely they get up to 300 comments. And if you would have just read the comments that I received back from all these people that have actually cried very recently, but soon realized that this never got asked to them before. Like, some of these people, they've cried for the last 3 days. Either it be happy emotions, sad emotions, they just watched a movie and they got teary. Whatever it is, right, it's a really important subject. Again, like I saw in this group, it does not get spoken enough. And from the responses I got, like, some of these people are going through depression. Some of these people have anxiety. Some of these people do not have a purpose, and that gets them emotional, right? And it's amazing how many people never actually speak about this. It's amazing how many people never actually ask their loved ones these types of questions to get to know them more, to just be there for them, to be a shoulder to lean on in a sense. Because especially during these times, it's very difficult for people. And I truly believe it's really important to let these emotions out. Just think of this analogy, right? You have all these friends coming over, these family members, these family friends, and your house is a mess. And you're like, oh crap, what do I do with all this stuff? You pile it all together and you stuff it in the cupboard that's all the way at the back of the house. The friends come, it's a nice clean house, you have a really good time, you're happy. They all leave, they had a great time, go to their respective houses. You're left with the house, but you totally forget that cupboard. You totally forget where you put all that rubbish. And 1 month passes by, 2 months passes by, 3 months pass by. And you realize, oh crap, I might need something in that cupboard. I think I forgot something in there. You open that cupboard and all the rubbish comes falling onto you. That's the exact same way that people are with their emotions. They always bottle it up. And I've seen a lot of times, they bottle it up. They don't want to let anyone in, they put their barriers up. They don't want to experience that crap anymore, so they just put it in a box and put it aside. They never actually address it. And one day, something's really gonna happen, and those emotions are just gonna go out of your system all at once. And that's not healthy. That's really not healthy. If you were to be able to understand your emotions and be okay with being vulnerable, if it's around yourself, if it's around your family members, around strangers, and just being vulnerable, that would make you feel so much better, I believe, because you're just letting it go. You're letting that burden go. Sometimes you may feel like you have these butterflies in your stomach. It's not coming out. You just can't cry sometimes. And I explained that point because that was actually one comment I received that was different from the rest. On that Facebook post, I received a comment where he was like, I can't even remember the last time I cried. He was thinking it was around 7 years ago. And since then, he's actually been trying to cry, but it's just not coming out. And he was begging for someone to just help him through actually just being able to cry. So that got me thinking, like, what is it? Why do these people not cry? And it's amazing because it's probably from his childhood. It's probably from his past experiences. It may be due to the fact that his parents never allowed him to cry. And all these questions start to arise, and you start to understand that these different people go through different problems, especially emotional problems that never get addressed. It's a huge issue, guys. And the one thing I want you to get out of this entire episode is that it's okay to cry. It's totally fine to cry, and I'm getting goosebumps just saying that because, again, I don't think it gets addressed enough. I don't think there's a big enough solution towards this issue, and just the one solution that I can address right now in front of you is that it's okay. Is to get someone and to be close with someone that you totally trust, that you totally love, and be able to just vent to them. Be able to have those DNMs, those what are the hell they're called? Deep and meaningfuls, that's the one. Those deep and meaningful conversations with someone and get to the point where you actually cry. Like, just let it out. Don't be afraid of what people think, and that's another thing, right? Sometimes people need to put the pride aside. People hold a bit of pride that they're strong, that they're powerful, that they're this and they're that. But those people usually never experience emotion, and those people usually go and vent that emotion onto someone else, to be an outlet to someone else, because they don't want to feel that emotion or they can't feel that emotion. And I don't think that's powerful at all. I think in its own right, is very weak. It's very vulnerable. And again, I'm not judging. So be it. There are people out there that are like that. They're arrogant, they're stubborn, whatever you call it. But I want there to be more vulnerable people, because that's really healthy for yourself. To be able to let it out, to be able to not have it in a burden, and potentially get to the point of that one comment I received on Facebook where he actually cannot let it out anymore. He doesn't know how to. It's just building up, but he can't let it out. And unfortunately, the way I see that situation is one day something really bad is going to happen in that person's life, and it's all going to come rushing out, and I unfortunately do not want to see the result of that. See, those things, the way I see it, those things can lead on to really bad things in life, unfortunately, when you hold your emotions in. And it starts from different ways. I'm not saying that every single bad thing happened in life because you're holding your emotions in. No way. This is just an example, right? I don't want you to think of it wrong. This is just an example. But it could have potentially led to that, for someone else. Do you get what I'm saying? So, I think I'm ranting on a bit here, but it really does mean a lot to me, this subject, because I saw 300 people be vulnerable. And it's truly powerful to see, like, when someone becomes vulnerable and lets their emotions out, I think that's powerful. I think that's a true strength. Because like I've illustrated in this episode, not a lot of people show that. Not a lot of people do that. And if you can be one of those ones that takes control of your life and doesn't let your body take control or something like that, doesn't let your mind take control and your mind tell you that you're weak if you do this, don't be vulnerable. If you can take control of that, you're truly powerful, and you can change other people's lives with that. Not only your own, you can change other people's lives with that. And I really want this message to get out to those people that need that message. So if you can share this with a loved one, with a close friend, close relative, that really needs to hear this message, I'd really appreciate it. Because it needs to be said. It needs to be said more. This issue needs to be spoken about on a much larger scale than it already is. I really hope you liked that one, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'd love if you could leave a rating down below and even a comment. Just take a few more seconds out of your day and leave a comment on what you enjoyed. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.